I'm Maysha with Stay Home and Come With Me, a transformational journey without and within. And I'm trying to keep these videos short. And also, I'm trying to give you nuggets of what we're going to talk about in the expanded format on YouTube in 2021. This one's going to have a lot of nuggets of what we're going to be talking about in it, and it's going to be kind of hard to keep short, but Spirit is like, this is the one I want you to tell today. So I'm going to try to do it concisely. So hang in there with me. This is going to be a mix of all those things I told you has been a part of my spiritual awakening. Here we go. Yesterday when I got through talking with you all, as you all know, I was fired up because I do know my Divine Soul Blueprint. I do know the timelines right now that I am working on. And I know that Spirit and I every day are going down the path that we have co-created together. And I know that I have my guardian angels in place that I can call on whenever I'm a little like, oh, what do I do? And da-da-da. And I know that, I just know. And so as the day went on yesterday, something started not feeling exactly right. And I started getting these downloads about an alternative path on one of these timelines. And I'm like, what? That's not feeling right here. That's not authentic to me. That is not a part of my Divine Soul Blueprint, which is what I'm going for as far as timelines go. I'm going for the gusto here, folks. I'm going for the gusto. Now, it sounds like what you're telling me could be an alternate timeline that's down here somewhere, and I'm sure I could be happy with that. You know, you're not going to send me something I'm not going to be happy with. I'm hearing you say best and highest good and all those things, but that's not lining up here. You know, something's not right here. And so this has gone on now it went on for about 24 hours, and it's a very uncomfortable feeling. And so I'm getting messages like, well, you know, you told us not to let yourself not see your own self-worth, not to devalue yourself again, and that's what we see you doing. This timeline is not working out the way it should. You need to shift. We have something else we want to bring in for you here. You're going to be just as happy, maybe even happier. We're going to make sure you're happier, as a matter of fact. We know what you deserve. We know your heart. We know how you love. We know your compassion. We know what you want in life, and we're going to bring that into you, but it's not on the timeline you're on. It's going to be this way. And I'm like, okay, I did surrender my free will on that and say, don't let me get back on that hamster wheel and not consider my best and highest good first. Don't let me not see my own self-worth. Don't let me not value myself and have self-love, because we have to do that above all, or we miss the boat entirely. I did do that. So, yes, that's true, but it's still not lining up with my heart. So I stopped this morning, dropped, and ground, like I told you about. And once I got some sleep last night, because it was kind of late once I got home. And I grounded, I balanced the chakras, I did some energy healing, and I'm like, okay, I've done all the things I know to do. That should show me if was off here, if I had a blockage or restriction or something that was keeping me from seeing that this timeline was not working out because of other people's energies. And I'm sorry, but don't mean to be disrespectful here. My heart is still saying that what we co-created is right, that there's not a need for this shift. So I don't understand what's going on. And I was pretty much in agony over it, because the Great Conjunction is the 21st, and we need to know all the things that aren't working in our lives, and we need to be letting go of those before then. And so I needed to know. And so I'm like, okay, the crunch is here. I know that the things that I need to let go of, I need to let go of before the 21st. So if truly I need to let go of this timeline, we got to get this worked out. I've got to know. But my heart is still saying, mm-mm. And I've done all the things I know to do, all the things you've taught me, and my heart is still saying, no, the timeline's right. And then I said, so what's the lesson here? And that's where I should have started. That is exactly where I should have started. As soon as I did that, the floodgates open, and Spirit's like, well, it took you long enough. You see, we've come here to expand consciousness so that God could experience himself, itself. The universe could experience itself. The divine could experience itself. through us and co-creating with us. Expand consciousness. And the universe, the divine, God wants us to do that in happiness and joy and abundance and all of those good things. But of course, we're going to have some lessons along the way in order to do that. There's no way around that. We were not meant, however, to get locked into those lessons and to take days, months, weeks, years to learn them. We're not meant to get on hamster wheels and just keep spinning our wheels and going or making the same mistakes over and over and over. We were meant to be able to quantum leap them. That knowledge has been hidden from us, lost. That is one of the things about spiritual awakening, and one of the things with the Great Conjunction that's coming back is the knowledge that we can quantum leap through these lessons. All we have to do is just say, what is the lesson? And Spirit will show us once we're awakened. And again, I don't care what belief system you use for that. You can have whatever belief system you want. Just have one that lets your authentic self, your heart, overcome the crap, the restrictions, the blockages, all of that stuff in your head. So, that's what I did. I said, what's the lesson here? And Spirit's like, well, took you long enough. We've taught you about quantum leaping. You didn't quantum leap this as fast as you should have. And I said, well, I made it in under 24 hours. So, and also, I was grounded and balanced, so I wasn't falling apart. I wasn't, it wasn't this big, as in tarot world would call it, tower moment. It was a mini tower moment. It was internal, just me tower moment. It was me figuring out, okay, something's not right here. I got to get it figured out. So it was all very balanced, So I did that part right. And so I'm like, okay, what was the lesson? And here was the lesson. The lesson was about manifesting. What I let happen was, I've had a few people lately who mean no harm whatsoever. So I'm not saying anyone did anything wrong. That is my point about manifesting, is how manifesting is so much more than what we've been told. Because it's not anybody doing anything wrong. It was somebody, actually, these people who said these things were all actually looking out for me because they've heard me talk and they're like, okay, you're so excited about this and we know you believe it and it's here and all of this, but what if it doesn't happen that way? And I'm like, what do you mean? Of course it's going to happen that way. I'm sure of it. I feel it here. I know it. Direct, what are you talking about? It's going to happen that way. But the conversations have lasted long enough, and there's been enough of them, that there's been more of like between 17 and 48 seconds of this energy poofed up into the universe about my timelines that I'm so excited about. And that puts conflicting energy into the universe, and that starts manifesting against you. And when that happens, you're going to start getting downloads for different timelines. And if you don't know what's going on, then you will start making mistakes. And instead of being laser focused on your goal, or goals in my case, on your timeline, and sticking to it and living out that timeline, you will let yourself be pulled off course. Now, this has been a very hard lesson for me, a very hard one. This time it wasn't, because I finally learned it, and I wish I had said, what's the lesson sooner, and realized that that's all that had happened, and that's why those things were coming to me. And once I'm like, hold on, stop, no, I know what the truth is. God's like, yes, you do know what the truth is, and everything's fine. Everything's going just the way it should. You're right on track with what you're doing. Everything's great. We just needed you to understand that, once again, you had let some manifesting go on around you that potentially could pull you off track. Because you see, I'm an empath, and I'm an intuitive, and I'm very sensitive to those things. And what I have done my whole life is known what my path was, but then let other people who meant no harm and may have never even said the things out loud, they may have simply thought them. But thoughts, more than 17 seconds to 48 seconds, put energy into the universe of manifesting. And so when someone would think, well, she's aiming too big again, that energy would get manifested. And being an empath and an intuitive, I would feel it. And I didn't know any better. And I took that energy on. And I made it my own. And I thought, I'm thinking too big again. And then I wouldn't go down that path. You see, I've done this my whole life. I've let little bits of manifesting that have been done around me that nobody meant any harm at all. As a matter of fact, most of the people were trying to protect me. They were worried about me because I dream big. I think big. I'm always kind of out there on the edge with stuff. And so nobody meant anything by it. But that energy would be up manifesting around me, and I would take it on. And because of that, I wouldn't stay focused. I would course correct, and it would be the wrong course correction. And it had me jumping timelines all the time, not accomplishing any of the things I wanted to because I was being jerked around by these energy shifts, these manifestations going on around me that weren't meant to be harmful to me at all. People didn't even know they were doing them. You see, we're manifesting all the time and we don't even know we're doing it. So, I'm back on track. I didn't get off track actually because I knew here. So I was saying to Spirit, okay, yeah, I gave you my free will on this and told you don't let me get on the hamster wheel of not loving myself and putting myself first again and knowing my worth. I did do that, but hold the phone here because this isn't feeling right. And so let's meditate this out and talk it out and heal it out and do all that stuff before you go doing any switching. So I didn't have any big tower moments there, Tarot World, but it took me way too long to quantum leap this. I should have got to what's the lesson much sooner. But this is the kind of stuff that we're going to be talking about on Stay Home and Come With Me, a transformational journey without and within, on a longer format on YouTube in 2021. And we're going to talk about it in much more detail, and I'm not going to throw out so many things into one little story without better explanations of them. But Spirit was like, no, today you need to tell this story. And so I'm trying to keep it, it's going to be under 15 minutes, and that's very important to me that it is. So I hope you all followed all of that. I hope you got that. Basically, manifesting is so much more than what we've been led to believe. And that what we're here for is to be abundant and happy. And yes, we're going to have lessons, but we could quantum leap those lessons if we just have a belief system in place. Whatever belief system works for you, I don't care what it is. That's why we're going to talk about all of them, because Spirit doesn't care either. Whatever works with you and Spirit is good enough for me. You just have to have a belief system in place so that you don't let your head rob you of what your heart knows is yours. Don't let manifesting going on around you, harmless manifesting meant probably for your own good even. People don't even know it's manifesting. Don't let that pull you off track, because you don't have to be an empath or an intuitive for that to happen. That's the kind of stuff we're going to talk about. That's why I want you to stay home. Come with me. Close your eyes. Open your minds.
Close your eyes, open your mind, and come along.